Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on International Coming Out Day. The 11th of October 2015, Sunday. Sunday this year, it was Saturday last year at 13:45 Eastern Time. Now, essentially, I'm going to pimp for my video I put up last year on this very day, 1 year ago, called National Coming Out Day, and it's on the 11th of October 2014. And I just rewatched it. It's about 7 minutes and 15 seconds long. I still think it's a very worthwhile statement of basically my attitude and views on all of this. And clearly, as somebody who didn't really, completely come out, I came out to myself when I was like, 14, 15. I mean, I knew I was gay, but, I lived this, basically life of closeted lies until I was 28, with the occasional furtive and sometimes not so furtive encounter. Those of you who watch me know I got married, I had a child, got married, got divorced, met Paul, and, obviously when I got divorced, I came out. I came out. And that was when I was 28, and that was in 1980. Met Paul on November 16th, 1980. Interestingly, the anniversary of my mother's birthday. You gotta love just history's ironies sometimes. In any case, I'm going to put this link to this video, and I retract nothing. I'm very glad. Frankly, I'm going to pat myself on the back a bit. I think I did a good job. I do apologize for the fact I used QuickTime Player 7, or QuickTime Player 7 to put this up with. So the quality it's not high def. It's 480. But I still wasn't quite clear enough on how YouTube worked and things. I've been learning. I've had another year of learning about these machines. I've been watching some of these these YouTube guys coming out videos, or they're remarking again on coming out, on International Coming Out Day, and I think the really crucial point that a number of them have made, leaving aside the fact, it's the suicide, and I'm not minimizing that at all. I mean, people kill themselves because they feel completely trapped and oppressed and no way out and all that kind of stuff. I'm not minimizing that. I mean, that's a huge problem. But they all went on to make the point that if you're a teenager under the age of, the legal age of whatever the legal age in your country is, if by coming out you're going to lose your financial support, I mean, you're going to be out in the street in a cardboard box somewhere. Your personal physical security is paramount and takes precedence over any of this other stuff going on in your head or emotionally. I'm not minimizing that either. That would be the only point I'd reiterate. And then I would also just mention that a number of these people have said, these people, a number of fellow gays on YouTube have said, that it feels like a physical weight being lifted off your body, and it is. It feels exactly like that. So I'll stick the link in, and you can click on it. And so, International Coming Out Day, and I guess it's kind of like Coming Out Week too. Good. Alrighty. Bye bye, YouTubers. Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Saturday, October 11th, 2014, at around, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Daylight Time. Now, in my perusing of the internet, I discovered it is National Coming Out Day, or I guess Worldwide Coming Out Day, some sort of coming out day. And that leads me to remember sort of how I sort of came out. I didn't come out until I was 28 in 1980. Although, I had realized I was gay many, many, many years before. All you have to do is watch the August autobiography series to understand that. And, there had been some fooling around and so forth, but in 28, that's when when I was 28, that's when I got, in 1980, that's when I got divorced, and finally divorced. I mean, the process started, before that, but I met Paul in November 16th of 1980, and we've been together ever since. But there's always that transition zone where your family doesn't know, and there's only so much you can say to your parents or in this case, my mother was the only one left alive, without lying, without overtly lying. There's lying by commission and lying by omission. This was lying by omission. And finally, she flirted around the subject and danced around the subject and danced around the subject, and then she sort of looks at me, one night when I'd gone down there to take her some food or help her out or drive her somewhere to the doctor or something. And she says, well, and I said, you're just going to have to ask it, Mother. Just flat out ask me and I'll flat out tell you. She says, are you gay? At least she said gay. That's interesting. And I said, yes. She says, well, at least you're not on drugs. I thought it was either that or you were on drugs. So that accomplished that. She never really reconciled herself to it, though. Well, in fact, she ultimately, when she died, it was like Zippo for Joe. So I don't need it. I've got all I want. My Lord, look at this packed closet. And that's about what it's all about today, isn't it? Coming out of the closet, and it's always good to be out because it takes a big load off your mind, and that cognitive dissonance and emotional dichotomy and intellectual it just messes you up. I mean, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to, some people are lying to themselves. Some people are lying to others. Generally, as I said, by acts of omission rather than acts of commission. But some people just flat out tell other people they're straight. It's not really a problem when you're financially independent. in terms of having a good job and so forth. But it's a problem for these teenagers, particularly the ones who are under the age of 18, who weren't really sure how their parents are going to react. And, the main consideration from their standpoint, I think, is am I going to, get kicked out of the house? Am I going to have to live on the streets? And that's something, they have to think about. Absolutely, they have to think about. And if they're in that stage of life, all I can say to them is that, in a few years, you'll be out and on your own, and you can tell anybody you want. And you're going to lose people. I lost a number of people I had considered friends. Not so much by them saying, I don't want to see you again, but just, never hear from them again. Never lose contact, that sort of thing. And that's going to happen. Inevitably, that's going to happen. But living in freedom and, living the way you want and being who you are is, far surpasses that loss. I bet you thought when I came out of that closet, I was going to have a big rainbow flag hanging on the wall or something. Well, I'm going to tell you, I must have been, like David Sedaris said, I must have been out of the country when they voted on that rainbow flag stuff, because I find that aesthetically just god-awful. Still, it's there. I'd be out on the deck with you today, but it's windy. It's too windy, and my wind filter on this camera, it just, the wind that would blow on the camera would stop the wind I'm blowing at the camera from you hearing the wind I'm blowing at the camera. So on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers.